In Minnesota's Twin Cities to spotlight the undefeated Vikings. Among those joining us are Minnesota's explosive receivers, Chris Carter and Randy Moss. And we profile one of the NFL's most engaging personalities, lineman John Randle. And now, from the state capitol in St. Paul, Minnesota, where the Twin Cities of Minneapolis and St. Paul both play the Vikings, it's Inside the NFL with your hosts, Len Dawson, Nick Bonaconti, Chris Collinsworth, and Jerry Glanville.
Hello, everybody. Welcome to our first road show of the season, and what a beautiful setting we have here in the Twin Cities.
That's because it's not snowing today, Len.
That's why we're here early in the season. The folks here are very, very excited about this football team. They're also excited about a big matchup coming up Monday night against the Green Bay Packers. We'll be talking about those things in just a little bit. But first, let's talk about this football team. A year ago, a lot of turmoil here within the organization, but Jerry, this year, more stable.
That's because of one guy, Lenny, and that's their new owner, Red McCombs. This is a 70-year-old Texan from San Antonio, Texas. The first thing he did, he came here and helped sell these tickets. They got this dome sold out, and then he put a calming effect over the entire team. He took Dennis Green and said, guess what? You got a new 3-year extension.
You know, Jerry, he has so much confidence in his Viking team that he went out and bought a new Citation airplane and had the Viking logo painted on its tail.
That's nice.
But I'll tell you one thing, if they don't get a new stadium here in the Twin Cities, you're going to see that plane go in for a paint job and come out with the Texas Lone Star on it.
He's got it moving already.
Leverage with one little can of paint. I hear what you're saying. We had a chance to visit with the coaches and the players of the Minnesota Vikings, and I have never heard veteran coaches and players talking about a rookie like they're talking about Randy Moss. Chip Myers, their quarterback coach, says this kid is the natural. There's nothing he can't do.
Yeah, I'll tell you one thing. He's lucky he's come under the good influence of Chris Carter, though.
And another guy that's changed. Remember Randall Cunningham from the Philadelphia Eagles, that cocky quarterback? Now we got a calm, mellow quarterback. Wait till you see the interview with him.
Chris Carter helped him, too.
Hey, we're all talking about the great offensive players with the Minnesota Vikings. Their problem is on defense. In this next game, they're going against the most dangerous quarterback in the National Football League, Brett Favre. You know, we'll hear from the natural, along with head coach Dennis Green, just a little bit later. But first, let's see how the Vikings came from behind to beat the Chicago Bears.
The undefeated Minnesota Vikings have found a place in the sun. One reason why they're basking in success is a schedule that has matched them against a winless opponent for 4 straight weeks.
2-yard line, Cunningham draws back the throw, sets up a screen, dumps it off to Smith at the 30. Wide at the 35 of the 40, the 45 of the 50, down the sideline for it. 35-30, 25-20, 15-5, touchdown.
But Eric Kramer cleverly played mind games with a Viking defense that was reduced to guessing incorrectly, then grabbing ineffectively at receivers like Bobby Ingram.
5-step drop, lofts it over the middle. Bobby Ingram in the 2 to the 5, touchdown!
Kramer's passing faced Chicago to a 21-10 halftime advantage.
Swings it over the left side, Chris Penn, touchdown!
But the Bears, whose first half leads disappear faster than the Magic Johnson show, again saw their mastery turn into misery, and they became the only team in NFL history to lose 4 consecutive games after holding a halftime lead.
Cunningham pulls back the throw. Cocks and fires. Caught! Touchdown, Vikings. Andrew Glover.
Randall Cunningham's arm powered the Vikes' second half surge.
And back to throw. Pump fake. Now lets it go. Throws it deep to Chris Carter. And it's caught! Touchdown! Back to throw. Cocks and fires it deep downfield. Moss! Touchdown, Vikings! Leaping catch for Randy Moss.
Moss just leaped above the 2 defenders, made the catch. And boy, the Bears are snake-bitten.
By the time Kramer fired a last-gasp touchdown pass, the Vikings may have already been contemplating this Monday's battle with Green Bay and the harder road that lies ahead.
It's going to get any easier. It really isn't. There's not going to be a team that we play that doesn't come out and really try to outgun us. And there might be some teams that do outgun us. But as long as we stick together and don't get discouraged when things don't go exactly the way we want to, then we're going to get the W. And that's really what it comes down to. And then we'll go stronger on the column. That's won and lost. And we'll go stronger in the body. That means heart. Okay? All right, good job.
This Carolina resident was practicing how to react at the prospect of a Panther victory over the Packers. The mock exercise wasn't so foolish because the Packers were often left feeling as woozy as Carolina's feigning fans. The Panthers assumed a 10-0 lead when Kerry Collins connected with Rocket Ismail in the first quarter.
Collins back to pass. A lot of time. Fires. Touchdown to Rocket Ismail.
Brett Favre's 3 interceptions imperiled the Pack's perfect record.
Flushed out. Now fires. Intercepted by Davis. 10-5. Touchdown. Eric Davis.
Mike Holmgren's fit of pique over Favre's picks was eased whenever the quarterback flashed his MVP form.
Favre short drop, pumps, looks, fires in the end zone. Caught! Oh, man. Touchdown, Green Bay, number 80, Derek Mays. Little Three Stooges dance there.
Mays created mo problems for Carolina when he eluded the Shemp-like tackles of the Panther defense.
Right to Derek Mays. He's going to score. 20, 10, 5, touchdown, Derek Mays.
Mays, who had only 2 career touchdowns coming into this contest, caught 3 of Favre's 5 scoring passes in a victory that secured the Packers' best start since 1966. The league's oldest player caught up with an old friend last Sunday and rehashed the good old days.
Psycho!
Hey, what the? What the?
Psycho?
Me?
This is the Psycho!
You have now taken the title, buddy.
Original
You are
Psycho.
now the
You
title.
got that nickname. What year was that?
Thanks for coming. Now you're older than all of us, too.
1986. I was back from last season. They go, hey, man, how was your off season? You been working out? Working out like a psycho.
Good luck, man. Dude, how are you doing, man? You're an inspiration.
You gonna be playing when you're 44? Huh? I hope I'm coaching when I'm 44.
Let's go, man. Let's go. Hey, we got to go. We got to play. We got to beat the air. Let's go. Niners. 1, 2, 3.
On the second play from scrimmage, San Francisco took control.
Great backdrop. Steps up in the pocket. Throws to the left sideline and a right. Another great catch. He's down the middle. 35, the 20, the 15, the 10. 5, touchdown 49ers. To the post. Jerry Rice, 66-yard touchdown play.
Jerry Rice's 66-yarder was his longest score in nearly 3 years. But after 10 consecutive home wins against Atlanta, it appeared the odds might finally even out.
Down the left side, ball is deflected. Oh, and caught! Atlanta will score in the weirdest deflection you'll ever see. Terrence Mathis crawls into the end zone easily. Unbelievable.
A lucky bounce kept Atlanta in the game, but eventually the Niners' relentless pass rush wore Atlanta out. Seven sacks and 3 interceptions sealed the Falcons' fate. In only their 3rd game, San Francisco seems to be in championship form. With 2 touchdown receptions against Atlanta, Rice and quarterback Steve Young have combined for 78 career scores, 1 shy of the all-time record. Now that Rice has recovered from the knee injury that slowed him last season, the kid gloves are off. He's ready to reclaim his position as one of the NFL's most dangerous receivers.
Fort Snelling State Park, a local tourist attraction, originally built to keep an eye on land purchased from the Louisiana Purchase. And a couple of guys here now that are setting the world on fire. Randy Moss, Chris Carter, and Chris, I'm going to start with you. Anybody ever tell this guy that it's not that easy? I mean, you don't just come in the National Football League and lead the NFL in touchdowns and go on about his business like that.
Well, it's tough. It's tough to kind of anticipate what's going to happen, but we were expecting great things. I mean, even the time we work out during the summer, you know, we were looking forward to the season starting. And the one thing that I knew we would do, I knew we would score a lot of touchdowns.
You know, Chris is a guy that's very open and very honest about what's happened to him in the past. You come in and you got this reputation. Now on draft day, it's this whole point of contention. Did it make it easier for you to listen to him? Because clearly he's overcome a lot in his own life and has an amazing success story now.
I think it's where, you know, me and him can relate to each other, to the things we went through, and we can be more open to each other. Because, I mean, he's been experienced with the things that in the NFL that's happened to him back in Philadelphia, and there's some things that we have in common that didn't happen. So, I mean, we can be open to each other, and we have been so thus far.
Chris, you've been down both sides of the road now. What do you think? Is this guy going to make it? Is he going to be okay?
I think everything's going to work out well. It's not a part-time job as far as doing the right thing socially. It's just like being a big-time player. I mean, if you want to be in the elite class of players, you can't take a week off. And socially, he can't take a day off as far as making the right decisions. And as long as he continues making the right decisions, he continues to build strength in himself and have confidence enough in himself, then he's going to do the right thing.
The Green Bay Packers, Brett Favre, I mean, they are known as the most explosive offense in football. I'm not so sure that you guys aren't the most explosive football. Is this a chance for you guys to showcase on Monday night before the nation that this is the best offense?
I really believe that we really have to come out and play. The past couple of days, I've heard so much about Monday Night Football that I haven't experienced it yet, so I don't really know how I'm going to feel or how the other players are going to react to it. So I think once, you know, it gets there for game time, then I really see where I stand.
You think you're going to have to walk him out on the field? You know, he might be a little nervous, rookie, up there in Monday Night Football.
No,
you think he'll be all right? Think he'll survive this?
I think he'll be all right. That's just like the long run. He's a little naive. He won't know Monday Night Football.
Randy?
Thank you.
Chris, thanks for taking the time to do this. Good luck this week. Lenny, back to you.
Randy Moss is quite fortunate to have a great veteran wide receiver like Chris Carter to show him how to succeed in the NFL. Unfortunately, another rookie, quarterback Peyton Manning, has to learn on his own. Let's see how Manning fared last week as his coach Jim Mora went against his old team.
In Indianapolis, fans may have revealed the secret to the Saints' success. Speak softly and carry a big stick of Ditka. Still, for 3 quarters, the Colts and Saints played as if they were picketing the end zone until Peyton Manning broke the tie with a quick strike.
Can't get him. Clock still on his feet. 30, being chased by Drakeford. He's going to go all the way. A 78-yard touchdown.
With just over a minute to play and facing a 4th and 17, Mike Ditka's team had little in the way of options, but they did have 6'4" Sean Dawkins on 5'8" Tyrone Poole.
A juggling reception is made at the 15-yard line.
A play later, the Saints sent the game to overtime.
And the catch is made for the touchdown.
In overtime, Manning locked into a receiver and looked very much like a rookie.
Time throws far sideline. It's intercepted. Intercepted by Drakeford. Coming up the far sideline, he stumbles out of bounds.
That interception was his 11th in 4 games and set up the Saints for the game-winning score.
Play action. Werfel under pressure throws it to Cleveland. Cleveland running down the far sideline. 10, 5, Cam Cleveland. Touchdown and the Saints have won. The Saints have won in overtime on a 33-yard touchdown pass to rookie Cam Cleveland in one of the strangest.
At 3-0, New Orleans is actually tied atop the NFC West heading into October, while the Colts host the Chargers, who were looking for help anywhere they could find it. So turning to the clergy wasn't a bad idea, but just in case, Ryan Leaf's teammates looked to a higher authority, hoping for some divine intervention from frequent interceptions. Turns out they never had a prayer because young Leaf played as though he didn't have a clue.
Down the right sideline, and the pass intercepted by Sparks. The receiver fell. Leaf throws over the middle, pass tipped, intercepted by Percy Ellsworth. Leaf steps up, throws over the middle, and it's intercepted by the Giants. Leaf back in the pocket. Giants coming to blitz. They pick it up over the middle. Pass intercepted again by the Giants. Percy Ellsworth running right. Touchdown, Percy Ellsworth. 4th interception on Leaf.
4 picks were enough for the Chargers to pull Leaf, but not enough for the Giants to pull any punches, as they pursued and punished backup Craig Wheelahan just the same. In the meantime, Danny Cannell led the Giants to a season-high 34 points.
Cannell back, looks, dumps over the middle. He's got Callaway touchdown, wide open on the post.
At 2-2, Canal and the Giants are tied atop the NFC East, while fall is proving a bitter season for at least one leaf in San Diego. The Buccaneers were supposed to make hamburger of the NFC Central this season and dance into the playoffs. But last Monday night, the big bad Bucs looked, well, like clowns, or maybe just left under the heat lamp too long. And while the Bucs offense was poor to middling, Detroit's special teams were considerably better than fair.
To the 5 to the 10, 15 to the 20, 30, right sideline, 40, break free, midfield, 40, 35, 30, he's gone! He's done it again, Terry Fair! Touchdown is second of his rookie season. Now the key play was he made the kicker Husted miss, and he made one guy miss around the 10-yard line, and then it was blocked well, and he just ran away from the rest of the Buccaneers.
At 105 yards, Terry Fair's kickoff return was the second longest in NFL history. The Lions are hoping that their second win comes considerably sooner than their first, as they finally wave goodbye to the NFC Central cellar.
Coming up on HBO's Inside the NFL.
Highlights of a wacky touchdown for the Raiders this week. And our NFL storybook remembers one of the wildest plays in history, Jim Marshall's wrong way run.
As Inside the NFL's roadshow continues from Minnesota, the land of 10,000 lakes, and the 4-0 Vikings!
There's a Viking all alone, and with us today is Randall Cunningham, a Viking that just 2 years ago, Randall, you were all alone. You weren't in the league. What were you thinking about 2 years ago?
Didn't want to play football, Coach. I just wanted to be thankful for what I'd had and the accomplishments that I received over the years, and I was just burnt out. Didn't want to ever play football again.
Well, now, here you are, rated the #1 quarterback in the league. You're 35 years old. You got one more year with the Minnesota Vikings contract. How much longer do you want to play? Is that burning desire to play 1 year, 2 years, or?
You know, I've really been able to humble myself and mature over the years, and that 1 year out really helped me to come and to know myself even better. And you know, I look at it as each day, each play, each game, one at a time, and I don't look too far in the future because you know, the Bible tells me that tomorrow's not promised. So I'm thankful for what I have now.
How did you humble yourself to the point where you agreed to come here as a backup quarterback, not a starter? How did that change from where you were 9, 10 years ago?
I think the only reason that it was easy for me and the way I was able to accept it is because I knew my role going in. And my last year in Philadelphia was probably my toughest year, you know, to sit on the bench and not know what my destiny was, but to know that God's grace was poured down on me abundantly and to have that peace in my heart. And to know that if I was a backup, I'd be the backup, but I just would be prepared and be ready to go. That if I was a starting quarterback, to just take advantage, and it's happened. And I'm just thankful to be able to be humbled like that and to come into this situation.
Playing an excellent football team like the Green Bay Packers, what gives the Vikings a chance to win?
Todd Stooksy, Randall McDaniel, Jeff Christie, Dave Dixon, and Corey Stringer, the front guys. Big offensive line, confident offensive line, guys who can be in the Pro Bowl. I could see eventually all of our offensive line being in the Pro Bowl. They just got to keep on going, keep on chugging and doing their job.
Thanks for being with us this afternoon.
Thank you, sir.
Lenny, back to you.
That's a much more mature and humble Randall Cunningham. He's playing like a Pro Bowler, but despite being named the NFC Offensive Player of the Week, Cunningham is not the most valuable Randall on this team. That would be John Randle, the intense, trash-talking lineman that leads the defense. Armand Kantayan has that story.
In the force of nature that is the NFL, there is nothing quite like Minnesota defensive tackle John Randle.
like havoc. I'm just going to go out there and just try to do whatever I can just to destroy. I don't care. Whoever's in front of me, I want to beat their ass. And when I come off the field, I feel like I've done everything I could, and, you know, I don't have any regrets.
So for 60 minutes, this human hurricane never stops blowing.
Long time, brother!
Fueled by a motor mouth.
I'll kick your old fella's ass!
And a military mindset that builds hours before a game.
When I go out, pre-game stretching, start getting that more of a vocal feeling. It's like, you know, it's a war. Two teams battling, you know, hand-to-hand combat, really. For me, with the war plan, it helps me get in the right frame of mind.
Nobody plays mind games better than this 5-time All-Pro. His never-ending stream of trash talk features taunts from team media guys and lines from favorite movies.
Night Rider! Rule on the waistline!
As for his favorite moves, well...
When you open the door, you just don't open the door and just grab a knob and push it. You use your hand to catapult off the door. Kids coming up at you, you just swim over them. To me, it's just learn to just make it second nature and just try to get better at it.
Since 1991, this 280-pound force of nature has racked up 87 sacks, more than anyone in the league. Earlier this year, that helped him earn a fat new contract.
In February, the Vikings made Randle the highest-paid defensive lineman in NFL history when they signed him to a record 5-year, $32.5 million deal. For a shy, self-described geek from a tiny town in Texas, it was literally a rags-to-riches tale come true.
Growing up, John Randle shared a 2-room shack with 2 older brothers and mother in Mumford, Texas, population 150. Often his bed was a spot on the floor in this home. No toilet, no bath.
We would take a bucket of water from outside and bring it inside and set it on like a stove and let it heat up. And then we would pour it in a tub and a little round tub, and you had to kind of like stand up, take a bath. We always kind of joke about it because it's kind of like we've moved on, but it's like, you know, we sit there and like, just for like 2 or 3 seconds of silence, and like, man, you know, we grew up like that.
Randle made it out of Mumford to Texas A&I. Never drafted, he never stopped believing, rising to stardom on the field and lately on the air.
We had like 5 or 6 different chickens and stuff. You know, some of the chickens didn't want to run, you know, chickens flying up in the air and stuff. I was like, please, chicken, if you hurry up, I can go home.
On Monday night, life imitates art as Randle and the Vikings face Brett Favre and the Packers. Another chance to show in his all-or-nothing way why this human hurricane has grown into one of the all-time greats.
Minnesota is known for its many lakes. As a matter of fact, in the Twin Cities metropolitan area, there's almost 1,000 lakes. But you can look all over, Nick, and you'll only find one John Randle.
That's for sure.
Let's talk about a matchup in the AFC East. You got the Miami Dolphins traveling to the Meadowlands, taking on the Jets. How do you see this game?
Well, the Jets have a chance, Lenny. That's if they turn loose their $46 million running back Curtis Martin behind their big offensive tackles Jason Fabini and Jumbo Elliott. Miami's defensive ends, they're undersized. Jason Taylor and Lorenzo Brumell. If the Jets get control of the line of scrimmage, they can win.
That is easier said than done. But there's down in Miami what I call the Dolphins' Iron Triangle, composed of a couple of defensive tackles, Tim Bowens and Daryl Gardner, and a middle linebacker about the size of Nick Bonacani, well over 5 feet tall. Zach Thomas. No one has been able to do much damage against that defense running with the football. Even the Jerome the Bus Bettis could only muster less than 50 yards. I like for Miami's defense to handle the offense of the Jets and win. What do you think?
Well, I think the Jets are going to lose and Miami's going to win simply because the Jets have only been able to muster 3 sacks. And against Dan Marino, that's not enough.
So, Jerry and Chris, we both think the Dolphins will go 5-0.
I think Nick grew. Did he? Man, you're giving him a lot of credit there. You know, Jerry, this week the Saints trying to stay undefeated as well. They're hosting the New England Patriots down in the Superdome. That place is going to be rocking.
It's going to be rocking. And the Saints have been doing it with their defense, and their defense with takeaways, taking that ball away, and tackles by Mark Fields. But you said they're playing who?
the New England Patriots.
Guess what? The New England Patriots are the only team in the National Football League that has not turned the ball over.
And a big reason why Drew Bledsoe has been tremendous so far this year. But the New Orleans Saints, they're a football team. They want to play it very close to the vest. They don't want to take a lot of chances on the offensive side. Give the ball to Ray Zellers and Lamar Smith, play under control. And that works fine when you're not playing against a very good offensive team. But the Patriots, very explosive, going to put a lot of points on the board. I don't think the Saints can match it.
And I'm going with the Patriots, too, because Terry Glenn is finally starting to play like he did 2 years ago.
That's exactly right. You know, Lamar Smith isn't the only one getting it done. In Philadelphia, first-year starter Deuce Staley almost stole the show.
Last Sunday, Bobby Hoying was out and Rodney Peete was in as the Eagles hoped their quarterback shuffle would help rejuvenate a lifeless offense. Pete Hoying and the rest of the Eagles know that if they can't turn their season around, heads may roll in Philadelphia. Against the Chiefs, Pete was effective most of the day, and he had an ace up his sleeve in second-year running back Deuce Staley, whose second touchdown gave the Eagles a 14-7 third-quarter lead.
Deuce Staley takes it in for his second touchdown of the game, and the Eagles take the lead. Deuce, and there's not booze now. It's Deuce, Deuce.
But in the fourth quarter, the Chiefs came back with 17 unanswered points on the strength of Donnell Bennett's second and third touchdowns of the day.
Donnell Bennett inside the 5, takes an eagle, drives into the end zone. Touchdown, Kansas City. Donnell Bennett with an old-fashioned slam. And they are in great shape, and the Eagles are dying.
Deuce Staley, however, was alive and kicking to the very end.
Cuts back, on his feet at the 10, on his feet at the 5. Deuce Staley in for a quick touchdown. He did that by himself. Deuce Staley, base, he missed, and then with sheer determination, navigated his way 10 yards into the end zone. What a great play by Staley.
Deuce scored thrice, but Staley's final touchdown of the day wasn't enough as time ran out on the Eagles' upset bid. The 0-4 Eagles are off to their worst start since 1972, and the Chiefs will face a much tougher bird this week against the Seahawks. Last week in Pittsburgh, the Three Rivers Bus Depot was gassed up, loaded up, and ready to roll. In the bus's way were Dennis Erickson's Seahawks, whose sights were set on the first 4-0 start in team history.
Coming our house, man. We don't lose here. We play with a temperament, a tempo, and a determination to get this thing done. Let's go!
On defense, Pittsburgh had a three-part plan. Blitz Warren Rule, shut down the AFC's best running game, and forced turnovers. They hammered Moon, allowed only 61 rushing yards, and stole the ball 4 times. Both defenses ruled the day, as each team could manage only a single touchdown.
Moon is to throw, looks, fires, caught by Christian Fourier, touchdown Seattle!
Down 7-3, the Steelers wore down the ultra-quick but undersized Seahawks with 138 yards by Jerome Bettis.
The bus is cranked up and in gear.
The school bell rang. The kiddies, they all ran out, hopped on the bus, and then 3 Seattle Seahawks tried to get on the bus, and they would open the doors for them.
And there are 2 buses now. The newest, the 250-pound Hawaiian model called the Foo.
Shotgun for Cordell, pitch back to the left. Here comes Foo. Foo's at the 10, Foo's at the 5, and Chris Malafala scores his first NFL touchdown.
It is said that defense wins games. Pittsburgh was doing just that, rattling Seattle and scooping up another fumble.
And a missed tackle, loose football, Steelers have it. It pops into the air and running with it. Chris Holmes and the Steeler defense comes up with a magnificent play.
Still, Seattle trailed by only 3 in the fourth quarter.
A lot of time left. First down, baby.
Seahawks fought on. And with Steelers nipping at his heels all day, Moon tried desperately to land that fourth straight win. In the end, an interception, 3 fumbles, and 4 sacks were too much for Seattle to overcome.
1:48 to go. Back is moving. Sacked on the play. Back at the 30-yard line. The Steelers came firing, and Kirkwood got it.
Let me tell you something. Not many people believed except you guys. It was a gutsy effort. A hell of a gutsy effort. And yes, we still have a long way to go. And yes, that's a good football team. And yes, who knows if you're not going to see them down the road. Be humble. Make sure that we understand exactly where we need to be. Enjoy the time off. I will see you guys Thursday morning, 9 o'clock.
In the early 1900s, the waters from these falls generated the power for the lumber and flour mills that helped the Twin Cities flourish and become a major business community. A man who is also flourishing is the head coach of the Minnesota Vikings, Dennis Green. And Dennis, a lot of news this year. A new owner.
New owner.
Right. Lost 60 pounds, the new Dennis Green. Your wallet's fatter with a new contract, 3-year contract. You're 4-0 with Randall Cunningham. Things are good.
Well, it begins with Red McCombs. I mean, he's just been a great owner, a guy that truly believes in the football team and the commitment. Then, you know, before that, though, we did draft Randy Moss, and it's worked out tremendously. I think he's going to bring a lot of excitement to the National Football League. Nick, he's just starting. He really is. We really haven't turned him loose yet.
Okay, I want to ask about Randy Moss because a lot of teams passed over him, but you drafted him #1. We all know about his football ability, but why did you take a chance on him?
Well, you know, we had his brother on the team. We felt we knew more about Randy, had a better understanding of where he was coming from. I think as people get to know Randy Moss better, they're going to see this is a very nice young man, and he's a guy that loves sports, basketball, football, baseball, reads the sports section every single day. He's a sportsman, and he can't wait to get to the National Football League and do his thing.
But you said that he's only begun to scratch the surface. Tell us about that.
Well, I think that relates back to, you know, I was fortunate enough to coach Jerry Rice back in 1986, and now here we are in 1998. Randy Moss has a lot of athletic ability. His potential is unlimited, and we really haven't gotten the ball that often.
Well, too bad Randy Moss does not play defense, because this week here you have to go to Green Bay. Brett Favre, that great passing attack against your 27th ranked defense against the pass. How do you stop Brett?
Well, it starts with our ability to stop the run. Then we can put all of our energies in the pass defense, get our pass rush going, get our linebackers underneath, and then make some plays with our deep secondary.
Well, you have problems with your secondary. Do you have confidence in them?
We do. You know, we lead the National Football League in interceptions, so we can make big plays with our secondary. But the key thing is we have to really be able to make the ability to make those plays inside.
Well, whoever wins this game will have control of the NFC Central. Good luck, Dennis.
Thank you.
But we know who the best is over in the AFC. That's the Denver Broncos, and they continue to win even without John Elway.
The Redskins opened the season with lofty expectations, but with a winless start, playoff hopes now seem out of the picture. And even a Broncos team without John Elway posed a problem.
Christian rolls to his right, flips it into the end zone. McCaffrey, touchdown. Beautiful catch as he tiptoes out of the side of the end zone.
Darian Gordon's 8th career touchdown extended Denver's lead.
It's going to be Darian Gordon, 40, 35-30, 25-20. See you later. Gordon is in the end zone. Touchdown, Denver.
Up 10 by halftime, the world champions then turned to the NFL's top ground gainer.
Davis left side. Nice block by Tony Jones. Davis. Big hole. Davis 30, 20, 15, 10, 5. Touchdown, Terrell Davis.
Though Denver had lost their previous 7 games when Elway was not in the starting lineup, Bubby Brister was more than qualified to power the Broncos, tossing 2 scoring strikes.
It doesn't get a lot easier than that, however. Bubby Brister's 2nd touchdown pass of the day. Denver is pouring it on here in the nation's capital.
In the 4th quarter, Michael Westbrook again teased Redskin fans with a glimpse of the talent that could make him a star. But it was far too little too late as the Broncos defense teed off on Washington quarterback Trent Green, dumping the Redskins to 0-4 for the first time since 1981. Denver might not need Elway this week either when they face another winless NFC East team, Philadelphia. Two of the NFL's maverick marquee teams squared off on Sunday. And while Dallas was hampered by an injury to Troy Aikman, at least they weren't suffering jet lag.
12 o'clock. They think it's 10 o'clock, dog. They ain't woke yet. Let's go, baby! Time to reach the fire. Time to reach the fire. Let's go, baby. The only way we gonna get what we want to get is everybody be held accountable. Get your damn job done today. Get it done. Play football. 4-4. Start fast and finish on. Hit stick and butt on 3. 1, 2, 3. Go! What?
The Raiders' early offense was provided by Napoleon Kaufman, who set up a first-quarter field goal on his way to 116 yards on the ground.
We're going to fake or lay. You fake in and come out, and I'm going to fake out and come in.
Whatever number 96 Darrell Russell did, it worked, as he encountered little resistance breaking into the backfield.
When you fake or lay, I'm going to fake or lay outside. Come in, it's going to be wide as...
Russell continued to bull his way through the line, unfettered by a Cowboy offense seemingly out of sync.
You come around, you stay on that inside guy now. You stay on the inside guy, so the fullback now can take the appropriate guy. Hey, 766! 766!
And it's a drop and a pass by Garrett. Throws, and it is an interception at the goal line by Woodson. Be sounding on me if you see something crazy. You're ready to throw it high. They're well. That's right, man. It's a crazy move. Thanks, Randy.
While the Raider offense proved no better, on this day, Lady Luck wore silver and black.
Tip and caught by Kip. He's going to go in for a touchdown. And the ball was bobbled.
Hit him in the shoulder. Left shoulder pad bounces up in the air. James just says, thank you very much, and it's the Raiders' touchdown.
And let's keep working. Let's keep working. We got to make something happen, okay? Come on, make it damn play!
The playmaker for Dallas turned out to be not Michael Irvin, but the incomparable Deion Sanders.
Straight up to the 30, 35, a wiggle, 40 outside, 50 to the left side to the 40. He beats the punter, sideline to the 20, and he's caught from behind at the Oakland Raiders 15-yard line.
Though the return yielded no points, it got the offense back on track. Down 10 with just 6 minutes remaining, quarterback Jason Garrett beat a Raider blitz, connecting with Billy Davis on a 55-yard catch and carry, giving Garrett an opportunity to improve to 4-0 as a Cowboys starter.
And Garrett pitch left. Emmitt Smith a block to the goal line. Touchdown, Cowboys.
And we have a football game now.
I feel your power over there, homeboy. I feel your power.
But Garrett is no Aikman, and Dallas's chance for another quarterbacking legend fluttered away in the Texas air.
Right down the middle of the field, and it is intercepted by Eric Turner in the end zone. Eric Turner may have just won the game with a late INT.
Way to go, Drew.
We got one more big game on the road next week. It's a West Coast game. We got to sharpen it up. God bless you. It's a big win for us. Enjoy the play home, man.
In St. Louis, the Rams anxiously awaited the return of their city's former team, the Cardinals.
We're family. Family, look out for each other. We're in hostile environment, but we're family. They don't know what time it is. Phoenix don't know what time it is. They shouldn't have left. They shouldn't have left. We going to war today. Let's go to war. War on 3. 1, 2, 3, war.
The battle lines were drawn by both teams early on. In the second quarter, the Cardinals launched an offensive.
He looks at left for Sanders. He's got it. He scored!
Arizona scored twice in a 50-second span, surviving the Rams' attempts to exact revenge on behalf of the local fans. But not everyone came away unscathed.
Hey, where I'm bleeding at, man? You got me by my nose, man.
In the fourth quarter, the Rams almost grabbed the game by the throat behind Robert Holcon's second touchdown of the day.
He's in. Touchdown, St. Louis.
Blowing him off the ball, brother. Blowing him off the ball.
But in the end, it was the Rams who got blown up. 2-2, the Cardinals are actually tied for the NFC East lead and loving every minute of it.
You live that old school? We gonna be at the top. We gonna stay on the top. I said 5 more times. We gonna stay on the top. We gonna stay on the top. We gonna stay on the top.
I think in the 3 years that I've been here, I think that's the first time that we've knelt down 3 straight times at the end of the ball game. I like that.
Yeah.
St. Paul Cathedral, a beautiful place located just to our right. And I'm sure a lot of the Vikings fans will be going there this week saying a little prayer, hoping to break that Lambeau Field jinx. Here we have it, the game of the week. We've got Minnesota 4-0, Green Bay 4-0. Who's going to go 5-0?
You know, I asked Brian Billick that very question, the offensive coordinator of the Minnesota Vikings. He said the key to this football game is when the Vikings get in their 3 wide receiver set, can they run the football and maintain that balance on the offense? Because the Green Bay Packers don't have a lot of depth in the secondary, so if they can stay in that 3 wide receiver set, they're going to really be able to throw the football.
Chris, I don't know why they can't run the football. They've got Robert Smith, the second leading rusher in the NFC. Behind that great offensive line, you got Stringer, you have McDaniel, and you have Stussy. I think I could run behind them, Jerry.
And don't forget their center, Jeff Christie, as good as anybody playing. But what I like what they do with their running game, Smith's for the outside run. As soon as you double the Vikings outside wide receivers, they bring in a drag-around back. Leroy Horde, he drags the defense around and makes you come back and run single coverage.
Has everybody forgot the Brett Favre factor? He does not need a running game to beat other teams. And the weakness of Minnesota is their secondary. Teams can pass on them. Last week, Eric Kramer and the Chicago Bears, 372 yards and 4 touchdown passes. Brett Favre will have a field day. I like Green Bay.
Well, I walked around on the practice field and I asked the players and the coaches, what about Brett Favre? And they said, Brett Favre, what about Bonnie Holiday, the right defensive end for the Packers? He's playing so good, they don't know if he can block him. I'm picking the Packers.
You know, everybody's putting the blame on this Viking secondary right now, but their bigger problem is, other than John Randle, they're not getting a pass rush. And if you don't get a pass rush against Brett Favre, you get beat. I like the Green Bay Packers.
Well, the Packers secondary, they're going to get tested. Craig Newsome, Tyrone Williams. Last week they gave up touchdown passes against Carolina. The weapons for Minnesota, much better than that. But as bad as it is for Green Bay, it's worse for the Minnesota defense. I like Green Bay.
We all like the Green Bay Packers. You know, with all the offensive weapons both teams have, it should be a very exciting, high-scoring contest, much like the one that took place in Baltimore last Sunday.
Hoping a change at running back would lead them to the promised land, the Ravens put their faith in Priest Holmes. Holmes ran for 86 yards and 2 touchdowns in the first quarter alone and ended the game with 173 rushing yards. In a town searching for a running game, his miracle performance made believers out of the Baltimore faithful. To complement Holmes' performance, Jermaine Lewis gained 236 all-purpose yards and caught a 73-yard touchdown pass to put Baltimore up 21-0. Their quick start had the Ravens jumping for joy. But the Bengals weren't ready for last rites just yet. Tremaine Mack returned the second half kickoff 97 yards for a touchdown and put the Bengals back in the game.
Side of the 30, 20-yard line, it is all the way, touchdown, 97 yards. Tremaine Mack and the Bengals are down by only 6.
However, devastating blocks on number 20, Thomas Randall, and number 91, Billy Granville, freed Lewis for an 87-yard punt return touchdown. Another fatal blow came when the Baltimore defense crushed Neil O'Donnell, knocking him out of the game. Backup Jeff Blake came in to throw a 67-yard touchdown pass to Carl Pickens.
Going big, looking for Pickens, down the left side, pushes off, makes the catch at the 20. He'll step into the end zone. It's a touchdown.
The Bengals had a chance to win the game, but Rod Woodson broke up a 4th down pass to seal the victory.
The throw, short drop, throws the slant, incomplete. The Ravens have held. What a play by the veteran Rod Woodson.
Priest Holmes proved to be Baltimore's salvation and has Ravens fans singing hallelujah. In Tennessee, the Oilers' saviors were supposed to bear the names Yancey Thigpen and Steve McNair. Last week, they finally lived up to expectations, connecting for 2 early touchdown passes. Thigpen's 102 receiving yards helped his team stay on top of visiting Jacksonville going into halftime.
And there's a quick drop by McNair, slant over the middle, caught by Thigpen at the 5. He battles, he goes in for the touchdown. He ran right over the safety and scored. He ran right over Chris Hudson and couldn't bring it down.
But Mark Brunell and the Jaguars had the final word, reclaiming the lead in the second half. Steve McNair was out with a hip pointer, and Dave Craig could have used some pointers on how to handle the football, fumbling 3 times on his first 3 snaps. The NFL's all-time leader in fumbles handed the game to Jacksonville. After having collared one division rival, the Jaguars are undefeated and looking forward to a little S&M, R&R in their bye week.
The beautiful Minneapolis Sculpture Garden, the largest urban sculpture garden in this country. Joining us on the program now, our own Gary Myers. And Gary, tremendous matchup now for Monday night. Green Bay and Minnesota, both teams undefeated. Quite a rivalry between these two teams.
And Chris, you know, it even extends to the front offices of these two teams. 4 times in the last 5 years, the Vikings have cut a player that the Packers claimed off of waivers. On 2 of those occasions, the Vikings wanted that player to clear waivers and then put him on their practice squad. Most recently, it was Kerry Cooks, a safety, Minnesota's 5th-round pick this year. 5 years ago, it was Gilbert Brown, the Vikings' 3rd-round pick, defensive tackle, who turned out to be a pretty good player in Green Bay. Danny Green says he doesn't think the Packers are doing this to hurt the Vikings. Mainly, Ron Wolf just likes to claim good players off of waivers, and Wolf says it has nothing to do with Minnesota. I'm not so sure.
I'm not so sure. Let's talk about Randy Moss now. A lot of people still have their doubts about will he be able to maintain off the field. Certainly no doubts about him on the field, but you get the feeling around here they have a lot of confidence in this kid.
And Chris, that was exhibited in the way they structured Randy Moss's contract. He got a $2 million signing bonus, and there were no provisions in there contingent on his behavior off the field. Contrast that with what the Bucs did 3 years ago with Warren Sapp. They gave him half his signing bonus up front, then had 3 installments over a 2-year period, paid out when he stayed clean, which he did. 2 years ago, the Rams drafted Lawrence Phillips in the 1st round and didn't give him a signing bonus at all.
Randall Cunningham off to a tremendous start. Does he have a chance to win the starting job even when Brad Johnson comes back?
You know, I asked all the principals involved in that and couldn't get a quarterback controversy going here. Danny Green said that regardless of how Randall Cunningham plays, how well he plays, when Brad Johnson is healthy, which is probably the end of October, it's Brad Johnson's job. Chris Carter, the leader of this team, says everybody here knows that as long as Brad Johnson is healthy, it's his job, and Randall Cunningham says the same thing.
All right, we know who the quarterback's going to be for the Dallas Cowboys as soon as Troy Aikman gets healthy. How soon?
Well, you know, Troy's been talking a little bit about coming back a week from Sunday, which would be 4 weeks since he broke his left collarbone. I think that's more optimistic than realistic. He has been jogging and has been throwing some, but the key for the Cowboy doctors is, can Troy's left collarbone withstand a hit? That has not been determined yet. We'll know next week if he's able to practice leading up to that game against Carolina.
All right, Gary, we'll see you next week.
Okay, Chris.
Lenny, back to you.
We all know the Iron Man of baseball is Cal Ripken Jr., but did you know the Iron Man of football played for the Vikings? Jim Marshall started every game during his 19-year career in Minnesota. Unfortunately, he's known best for one of football's most famous blunders. In this week's NFL Storybook, Kurt Gowdy tells us what happened 34 years ago.
Viking defensive end Jim Marshall retired in 1979, having played in 282 consecutive games, an all-time NFL record. But on October 25th, 1964, he played a game he'd like to forget.
Myra straight back to pass. Looking. Now stops, throws, completes it to Kilmer up at the 30-yard line. Kilmer driving for the first down, loses the football. It's picked up by Jim Marshall, who's running the wrong way. Marshall is running the wrong way, and he's he's running it into the end zone the wrong way, thinks he scored a touchdown. He has scored a safety. His teammates were running along the far side of the field, Russ, trying to tell him to go back. He paid no attention.
George Meyer was the quarterback. He threw me the ball, and I ran him 3 or 4 yards, and I got turned around. And all of a sudden, Carl Kasulke punched the ball, and the ball just comes right into his hands perfectly, and he just kept going right by me.
And all of a sudden, you know, he jumped up, and here I see, you know, this opponent running the wrong way. I mean, he's running back. I say, what the hell is this? I thought any second he's going to turn around, right?
I didn't really know that something was wrong until after I'd crossed the goal line, and Bruce Bosley came up and congratulated me. I'm thinking, wait a minute. So I kind of looked around, I got my bearings, and knew that I'd made a mistake.
Lesser men might have migrated to Wyoming or jumped out of an airplane after such an embarrassment. Jim Marshall did both. He's made more than 1,200 jumps. He survived a small plane crash and a near-fatal surgery. And once, he walked out of a blizzard at Wyoming's Grand Teton Mountains that killed a member of his snowmobile party. But despite all his heroics, he still can't escape the wrong way run.
There's not a day that goes by that somebody doesn't come up and say, you're the guy that ran the wrong way, or Jim, tell me about that play. You know, that famous play you were involved in. You know, one of the things that I'd like to say, I did cause the fumble that scored the winning touchdown, and I never get credit for that. I always talk about the wrong way run.
The Vikings' win is a footnote in NFL history. Jim Marshall's wrong way run is legend.
It's picked up by Jim Marshall, who's running the wrong way. Marshall is running the wrong way, and he's running it into the end zone the wrong way, thinks he scored a touchdown. He has scored a safety.
Forget about Jim Marshall running the wrong way. Think about 19 years he started every football game. Now, we start the end of our program with the pick segment. Last week, Chris and Nick did very, very well.
That's right.
You know the thing, though, Jim Marshall only went the wrong way once. Jerry goes that way every week.
Where's for the season, ladies and gentlemen? Jerry, we're trying to help you.
He's distancing himself.
I'm giving you a little lead. I'm going to catch you.
Thank you very much. Earlier in the show, we picked several games. Now it's time to pick the rest. Carolina gave up almost 500 yards of offense last week. Nick still likes the Panthers. The rest of us are taking Atlanta. Bad news, Dallas playing without Troy Aikman. The good news, they're playing Washington. Nick, Jerry, and I like the Cowboys. Chris thinks Washington will win their first. Detroit has Barry Sanders. That's why Jerry and I like the Lions to win. Chris and Nick, they like the Bears to win their very first. Deuce Staley scored 3 times for Philadelphia last week, but we all agreed Denver will win handily this week. The top 2 picks in the draft will meet when San Diego travels to Indianapolis. Ryan Leaf and Peyton Manning. We all like the Colts. And San Francisco will stay undefeated by beating the winless Buffalo Bills. Now for the rest of the games in more detail. We've got the Giants at Tampa Bay, 2 playoff teams from a year ago. Nick, tell us about it.
You know, I never thought I would say a Tony Dungy coach team is not playing with pride, but this Tampa Bay team is not. They're looking for Trent Dilfer, the Beatle leader. He is not able to do it. If they start around looking at each other, they're going to wear that giant defense around their neck. They'll wake up this week. Tampa Bay wins.
Well, you know, with Tampa, I worry about Paul Gruber. He missed the whole preseason with a leg injury, and I don't think he's well yet. And guess who he's going against? Michael Strahan and Keith Hamilton, 2 of the best defensive ends in the National Football League. I'm going with the Giants.
You know, I thought the Giants' offense was struggling until I saw Tampa Bay last week. That was amazing. Ike Hilliard, Chris Callaway starting to make some plays for that Giants offense now. I'll take New York.
Tampa Bay lost to Detroit because of an interception run back for a touchdown, a kickoff run back 105 yards for a touchdown. That will not happen this week. I like Tampa Bay. Oakland traveling to Arizona. Both defenses coming up big last week in victories. Jerry, you start us off.
Well, Arizona's defense was big, Lenny, because of Andre Wadsworth, their first-round pick. He finally got his first 2 sacks. But what I like is the offensive line for Arizona finally protected Jake Plummer. I'm going with the Cardinals.
You know, never been any doubts about Arizona's ability to rush the passer. I still have my doubts about that team's ability to stop the run. I think Napoleon Kaufman's going to have a big game. I like the Raiders.
Now, the Raiders are playing good in the secondary. That's because of Charles Woodson, the rookie, and Eric Allen. They're going against a limping Rob Moore. Frank Sanders is healthy, but I think Oakland's defense wins that ball game. I like the Raiders.
I saw the Raiders do something last week I didn't think they could do. They only had 4 penalties for 20 yards. They had no turnovers, and they were only sacked twice by the Cowboys. I like the Oakland Raiders. Now we've got Seattle at Kansas City. Seattle's first division game. Both of these teams 3-1.
You know, Seattle's passing game really has not been this year what it was a season ago. And to make matters worse, now they have to go in there and play Derek Thomas in this Kansas City defense that I think is the best in football. I like the Chiefs.
Yeah, but the Chiefs defense has had trouble stopping the run. If you look at the last 3 runners, you had Stewart and Natron Means and Deuce Staley. Both ran for over 100 yards. But Kansas City's going to win this game because their defense is just that tough against the pass.
Well, you know what? The Seattle Seahawks have a good football team, unless they go against a full-press bump-and-run corner. Going to Kansas City, Dale Carter, Hasty, the 2 best corners in the National Football League. When they're all over your face, I'm going with Kansas City.
I like Kansas City because Elvis Gerback should be back playing. Andre Rison should be back playing. Reggie Tung, their safety, should be back playing. And they've got that Arrowhead crowd. I like Kansas City. That's our show for this week. Remember, Inside the NFL premieres